In the city of Aurora, Colorado, Angela Craig was cherished for her radiant smile and unwavering commitment to her family. As a devoted mother of 6, her life seemed nothing short of idyllic, especially with her husband, James Craig, constantly by her side. But beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect life, dark secrets were quietly festering, waiting to be uncovered. Angela's sudden and mysterious health crisis would ignite an investigation that brought to light deception, betrayal, and a chilling plot orchestrated by the one person she trusted the most. Angela came into the world on April 15, 1975, in the lively town of Dodge City. Raised as part of a large, loving family of 10 children, she was known for her sharp wit, intelligence, and ability to engage everyone around her with intriguing conversation. Angela was often the center of attention at family gatherings, bringing warmth and life to every occasion. Despite her allergies, her love for animals was undeniable, a passion she carried throughout her life. She also held a deep love for reading and had a talent for woodworking, finding solace and joy in these creative pursuits. Angela's passion for interior design flourished during her time as a student, where she discovered the beauty in creating and arranging living spaces. Despite her creative talents, her greatest focus was always her family. She nurtured close bonds with her siblings and was known for her generosity, offering help to both friends and strangers alike. Angela's interest in genealogy grew over the years, leading her to become a family history consultant, where she assisted others in tracing their roots and reconnecting with long-lost relatives. Her commitment extended beyond family and friends, as she played an active role in her church community. Angela served as a choir director, teacher, and youth group leader, devoting her time to uplifting those around her. On December 18, 1999, Angela married James Craig, a man with ambitions of becoming a dentist. In 2006, James's aspirations were fulfilled when he earned his doctorate in dental surgery from the University of Missouri, Kansas City. During his time at the university, James contributed significantly by helping establish the International Dental Program, which provided support for foreign-trained dentists to gain their licensure in the United States. By October 2006, James had established his dental practice in Aurora, Colorado. Over the next 23 years, Angela and James built a family together, welcoming 6 children into their lives. Despite the miles between them, Angela remained incredibly close to her siblings, especially her sister Toni, who lived in Utah. The two spoke daily, nurturing their bond through countless phone calls and sharing unforgettable trips together. With James's thriving dental career and Angela's active participation in their local community, the Craig family appeared to be living a joyful and fulfilled life. However, everything took a tragic turn on the morning of March 15, 2023. At 11 a.m., Angela was rushed to the hospital after experiencing a sudden, excruciating headache, along with dizziness and nausea. James stayed by her side, offering comfort and support throughout the alarming ordeal. Despite the medical team's efforts, Angela's condition deteriorated rapidly, and by 2 p.m. she suffered a massive seizure, prompting doctors to place her on life support. Her anxious family, desperate for answers, couldn't ignore the alarming pattern. This was Angela's 3rd visit to the hospital in just 10 days. All with the same troubling symptoms of severe headaches, nausea, and dizziness. Despite multiple hospital visits, doctors had yet to pinpoint a definitive cause for Angela's symptoms. This time, however, her condition was far more critical, leaving the medical team perplexed. As her health rapidly declined, 2 close friends, Ryan Redfern and his wife, arrived at the hospital. Ryan, also a dentist and a longtime friend of James from their university days, was more than just a companion. He was a financial partner in James's dental practice. In 2021, when James faced financial difficulties, Ryan had stepped in to help stabilize the business. His wife, who held a doctorate in nursing, was well aware of Angela's recent health issues and came along to offer her support. Angela's symptoms had first emerged on March 5, 2023, shortly after she returned from visiting her sister in Utah. Feeling unwell, she sought medical attention on March 6th, but the doctors found nothing concerning and prescribed her basic medication, along with instructions to rest. Unfortunately, her condition worsened, leading to another hospital visit on March 9th, raising alarm among her friends and family. On March 9th, while Angela was hospitalized, Ryan's wife reached out to James, offering her expertise and assistance. Although James was grateful for her offer, he reassured her that they had everything under control for the time being. The following day, March 10th, Ryan's wife followed up once again, inquiring about Angela's condition and offering her help. James, appreciative of her concern, admitted that it had been a difficult time for them all, signaling the beginning of a critical phase in Angela's health struggle. James confided that despite the doctors running numerous tests, including several blood draws, they still hadn't identified the underlying issue. Fortunately, the routine blood tests came back normal, ruling out potential autoimmune disorders and diabetes. However, one significant concern persisted: Angela's blood pressure. Over a 24-hour period, she had been administered 5 liters of IV fluids, yet her blood pressure remained dangerously low. Despite all medical efforts, Angela continued to feel severely unwell. The doctors decided to keep her under observation for another night, with hopes she could return home the following day. Amidst the growing crisis, James contacted his partner's wife to inform her of Angela's worsening condition, even sending her 2 photos showing Angela surrounded by medical staff in the hospital room. Tragically, Angela suffered a stroke and became unresponsive. Deeply concerned, Ryan and his wife decided to visit the hospital to provide support. They sent James a message, letting him know they were on their way. However, while en route to the hospital, Ryan received an unexpected and troubling call from Caitlin, a relatively new office manager at the clinic where James worked. Caitlin had observed several unusual events that caused her to question what was really happening with Angela's health. She recounted an incident from March 6, 2023. That evening, Caitlin had been working late at the dental office when James unexpectedly appeared, despite not having any scheduled appointments. What struck her as particularly odd was that instead of heading to his own office as he normally would, James went down the hall and logged onto a computer in one of the exam rooms. This was highly unusual since James always used his own office computer, and this change in behavior seemed out of character. In the days that followed, Ryan's wife continued to check in, offering consistent support as Angela's health remained uncertain. James revealed that a series of additional tests had been conducted, including an MRI due to a family history of brain tumors, along with ultrasounds and CT scans of Angela's head, chest, and abdomen. Strangely, all of these tests returned normal results, offering no medical explanation for her worsening condition. Despite this, Angela was eventually discharged from the hospital, but the unsettling question remained. If the medical reports showed she was in good health, why was her condition continuing to decline day after day? Unfortunately, on March 15, 2023, Angela's health took a dramatic turn for the worse. This time, her symptoms were even more intense. She was overwhelmed by severe dizziness, nausea, and excruciating stomach pain. Unable to reach James, who was working at his clinic, Angela reached out to her brother for help. He rushed her to the hospital, where she was admitted at around 11 a.m. Upon hearing the alarming news, James rushed to be by her side. About 30 minutes after Caitlin left the office that evening, she received a text message from James. In the message, he mentioned that he was expecting a personal package to be delivered to the office and asked her to ensure that it was received without anyone else opening it. He stressed the importance of confidentiality. On March 13, 2023, the package James had referred to finally arrived. However, when Caitlin went to collect it, she discovered that another colleague had already opened it by mistake. Remembering James's specific instructions, Caitlin carefully resealed the package and handed it directly to him. But while repackaging it, something unsettling caught her attention: a hazardous materials label. It was attached to a cylindrical container inside the package, marked with the words, potassium cyanide. Caitlin initially assumed that the chemical had some medical or dental use she wasn't familiar with, so she quickly resealed the package and handed it to James without further thought. Later that same day, she noticed James leaving the office, carefully carrying the cylindrical container wrapped in brown paper. Her suspicions grew. Why was James taking potassium cyanide home? Driven by curiosity, Caitlin turned to Google to research the uses of potassium cyanide. That's when she made a startling discovery. The symptoms of cyanide poisoning closely matched those that Angela had been experiencing. Nausea, vomiting, and low blood pressure were all hallmarks of cyanide toxicity, and Angela's health had been progressively worsening with these very symptoms. When Ryan arrived at the hospital, still processing the disturbing information Caitlin had shared with him, he immediately met up with his wife. Together, they went to see Angela, who was now on life support. Not wanting to waste any time, Ryan approached one of the nurses on duty and confided in her his growing suspicion. that Angela may have been poisoned by James using potassium cyanide. Although shocked by the accusation, the nurse took the information seriously and agreed to conduct a new round of tests on Angela. Recognizing the seriousness of the situation, the nurse also contacted the authorities by dialing 911. Meanwhile, James had stepped outside to take a phone call, giving Ryan and his wife the chance to discreetly leave the hospital. However, their departure was abruptly interrupted by a frantic call from James, demanding to know why they had left and informing them that hospital staff suspected he had poisoned his wife. Ryan didn't hold back. He confronted James directly about the mysterious package delivered to the dental office and its unsettling contents. He bluntly asked James why he had ordered potassium cyanide. Feeling cornered, James finally admitted that he had indeed purchased the chemical, but claimed that Angela had asked him to do so, never thinking she would actually use it. After their tense conversation, James texted Ryan, pleading with him not to disclose their discussion to anyone, especially the police. He expressed concern that Ryan's involvement would only exacerbate the situation for his family. While acknowledging Ryan's intentions, James insisted that if Ryan had approached him directly, man to man, instead of involving others, they might have avoided the current turmoil. His frustration and anger toward Ryan were evident. Despite James's pleas, Ryan couldn't shake the feeling that there was much more to the story behind Angela's declining health. He made a critical decision and reached out to the police, sharing everything he knew and urging them to investigate further. Later that night, well past midnight, law enforcement arrived at the hospital to discuss Angela's critical condition. She remained on life support, showing no signs of brain activity. The following day, March 16, 2023, investigators visited Caitlin, the office manager. This was when the truth began to come to light. Caitlin disclosed that on the morning of March 6, 2023, just before Angela's first hospital visit, James had prepared a pre-workout protein shake for her. He had boasted about it at the office, presenting himself as a devoted husband. However, events took a sinister turn when Angela suddenly became dizzy, and from that moment on, her health began to deteriorate rapidly. Caitlin didn't hold back. She also discussed the suspicious package and expressed her concerns regarding the potassium cyanide. She explained how this dangerous chemical could lead to the same symptoms Angela had been experiencing, and in some cases, could even be fatal. Ryan, who had joined the conversation at the dental clinic, added further details that shattered the facade of the seemingly happy Craig family. He revealed that in 2021, when James was struggling with financial issues and facing bankruptcy, he confided in Ryan about his marital problems. Shockingly, at that time, James had been contemplating divorce. Even more heartbreaking was James's later admission that Angela had considered taking her own life in 2022 through an overdose, but James had intervened to save her. According to Ryan, James stated that Angela's tendencies toward self-harm had intensified when he requested a divorce in December 2022. Despite these serious issues, James never reported Angela's behavior to the authorities or sought professional help for her mental health struggles. This pattern of secrecy and neglect raised significant concerns about the recent events. To gain a clearer understanding of Angela's mental state, the police interviewed the couple's 6 children. Surprisingly, they presented a different perspective, describing their mother as happy and full of energy, with no indications of the troubling behavior that had been reported. The contradictions only deepened the mystery, suggesting that James might have been concocting a story to account for Angela's deteriorating health. As suspicions grew against him, the police initiated a thorough investigation. They obtained search warrants for both the Craig residence and James's dental office. Additionally, they began scrutinizing James's phone records and text conversations with Angela, dating back to March 6, 2023, the day she first reported feeling unwell. The text messages from that day revealed a disturbing exchange. Angela expressed gratitude for a coffee James had made, conveying warmth and optimism for the day ahead. However, shortly thereafter, she mentioned feeling dizzy and out of sorts, prompting James to suggest that she check her blood pressure. The conversation took a concerning turn when James alluded to heavy medications, acknowledging his past worries and hinting at a potential trigger for Angela's symptoms. He compared her symptoms to those of a stroke and inquired whether she might be experiencing any weakness. This unsettling dialogue, coupled with the accumulating evidence, left investigators with more questions than answers. Following this troubling exchange, where James persistently asked about Angela's symptoms and offered suggestions, a disturbing level of awareness and concern regarding her condition became evident. The investigation took a significant turn when police decided to examine James's computer. They uncovered 2 email accounts linked to him, along with a troubling search history related to Angela's declining health, which further raised suspicions about his involvement. In February, just a month before Angela was hospitalized, James had searched phrases such as, "How many grams of pure arsenic does it take to kill a human? And can arsenic be detected in an autopsy?" He had also looked up chemical suppliers in the area, all of which raised serious red flags during the investigation. One particularly incriminating piece of evidence was a purchase made by James on Amazon for a product labeled as 99.999% crystalline metalloid arsenic. The product description clearly stated that ingesting this chemical could be fatal. Further investigation into James's online activities revealed alarming YouTube videos he had watched. One video, titled "Top 5 Undetectable Poisons That Don't Show Signs of Murder," provided instructions on how to create plant-based poisons. He also conducted 3 additional searches related to homemade poison creation, specifically for plants. As if this weren't disturbing enough, investigators discovered another video detailing the effects of cyanide and arsenic poisoning, emphasizing how challenging it is for doctors to detect these substances. The most damning piece of evidence emerged from an order James placed with potassium cyanide. At this juncture, the pieces of the puzzle were beginning to align, suggesting that James had been poisoning Angela all along. But why would someone harm his wife and the mother of his children? Could it be linked to his desire for a divorce? As investigators delved deeper, they interviewed friends and family members. Angela's sister offered crucial insight, revealing that only those closest to Angela were aware of the truth about her marriage to James, which was far from the loving facade they presented to the public. She disclosed that James had a history of extramarital affairs with multiple women. Even more shocking was James's confession to Angela about his long-standing addiction to inappropriate online material, which dated back to his teenage years. One particularly disturbing incident from 5 or 6 years earlier caught the attention of the police. Angela had confided in her sister that she feared James had intentionally drugged her, suspecting he had done so to prevent her from interfering in his activities. This revelation shed light on some of the strange text messages exchanged between the couple. However, investigators remained skeptical of James's explanation regarding drugging Angela, finding it unreasonable that he would resort to such extreme measures. Angela's sister also revealed that Angela had longed to escape her marriage, a sentiment she had expressed repeatedly over the past 16 years. Yet, every time Angela gathered the courage to leave, James would skillfully manipulate her into staying. Their marital issues extended beyond their personal relationship and into James's struggling dental practice. Further complicating matters, James had tried his luck gambling in Las Vegas, racking up losses of over $2,000 despite being $2 million in debt. To the police, it became increasingly evident that beneath the facade of their seemingly perfect marriage, the Craig household was fraught with turmoil. The investigation uncovered even more incriminating evidence when investigators discovered emails detailing round-trip flights for 2 separate occasions. These tickets were booked for Karen, an orthodontist based in Texas. The emails exchanged between Karen and James were far from professional, carrying an intimate tone. Karen had filed for divorce in 2022 and had been involved with James, a fact that Angela was entirely unaware of. Delving deeper, investigators found that these flights were purchased on the same day arsenic was delivered to James's residence. This pointed to a calculated scheme for James to be with Karen. On March 16th, one of Karen's emails to James, with the subject line, "See you soon," expressed her regret over the turmoil in James's life. In that message, she apologized for not being more involved in his life and for keeping her distance. As police gathered more evidence against James, hospital staff continued their fight to save Angela. Tragically, on March 18th at 4:29 p.m., Angela was declared brain dead. She passed away without ever knowing the truth behind her husband's sinister plans. Just hours after Angela was taken off life support, James was officially charged with first-degree premeditated murder. He had little time to contemplate the gravity of the charges before his arrest on March 19th. A few days later, James found himself in a Colorado courtroom for his initial appearance. As the charges against him were read aloud, a mix of friends, family, and even some of James and Angela's children looked on in disbelief. The disheveled 45-year-old man in an orange jumpsuit, handcuffed, was a stark contrast to the smiling blonde man featured in family photos. Facing the severe charge of first-degree murder, James was also charged with tampering with physical evidence. The judge set his bail at a staggering $10 million. His trial is scheduled for December 2024, just a week after Angela's death. New information has surfaced, revealing that Angela held not one, but 3 life insurance policies in her name. Although this is not confirmed, it raises the chilling possibility that James's grim plan may have involved collecting those life insurance payouts alongside his affair. Now, Angela's 6 children are left to grapple with the heartbreaking reality of losing their mother, while their father stands trial for her murder. Angela's children were her pride and joy, and following James's arrest, her family stepped in to care for them, making it clear that James's extended family should not be held accountable for his horrific actions. In Angela's obituary, her family and loved ones aimed to capture the essence of her life beyond the tragedy of her untimely death. After Angela was declared brain dead, her family made the courageous decision to donate her organs. While they couldn't save her, they found bittersweet comfort in knowing that her legacy lives on through the lives she helped to save. Thank you for watching the video. If you found it interesting, please like and subscribe to my channel for more content. Thank you.